booked in my freshman and sophomore year. You know how it is. All the crushes, adolescence, hormones, and whatnot. I managed to pencil her in for junior year of high school. And the thing was this. Okay, this was in a very, very turbulent, very volatile time of one's life and adolescence. That of the proving ground of junior promenade season. You know what it is. Now the thing was this. I was in an Algebra 2/trigonometry class, and that was tough enough as it was. And the power I'm going to talk about, a couple of three countervailing forces. That of the collective peer pressure, public kind of power system versus that of the individual, private, prevailing epiphany system. And I'll explain how this works. I was in this classroom. I have had Asperger's all my life, Asperger's syndrome. People with Asperger's have trouble relating to certain social interactions and such. So these different peer structures of power, which are known as the common cliques, those insidious, invidious structures in high school that we all know and love so much, okay, are impenetrable to people with Asperger's like myself in some situations. Okay, they're impenetrable fortresses of friends. But I took it upon myself. I really liked this girl. And she was an angel. She was a nice girl. I'm not trying to bash anyone. This ended up being a failed quest in the end, but she's a nice girl, so I'm going to get that out of the way. Okay, it was really the rest of this clique that were really the bastards and evil people. But here's what happened. Okay, they were mean. There was this Julius Caesar-esque kind of conspiracy against me, I tell you, in terms of my wanting to take this girl. The problem being thwarted, therefore. One day we were in class and she sat next to me, not by choice, but by that wonderful coercive sedentary system known as assigned seats. And she had got up, woo. So she got up and she had to leave, class was over, and she left her notebook behind. Now, when you have an infatuation with someone, you want a piece of them. I don't mean that in any dirty way. That could be some people, that's not me. I simply mean I wanted to have a window into her life. You know, when you're really into someone. So I took it upon myself to secure her notebook. I was going to return it the next day. I was young and brash and stupid. It's high school, right? So I take the notebook. As I do, there's a guy who's enmeshed in this power system too, that clique, and he sees me from the doorway. He's like 5'0", a jock, really into sports, kind of squat, but still jockey. And he goes and runs off. He sees me take it. He's like, an agent of this clique. And I imagine him in retrospect as being like in some gangster film with a gangster suit and a Stetson hat on, saying to the superiors in the clique, he's taking the big jolly, because it would turn out there was a little bit of a conspiracy against me. I take the notebook home. I'm not going to open on wrestling with my conscience for a few minutes. But all of a sudden, after a few minutes in a stretch and a yawn, I accidentally opened this notebook by accident, I swear. Inside, I'm scandalized to find math problems, because it's a math class, and doodles. However, at the end of one of the subjects in this multiple subject notebook, I find a note addressed not to me, but about me in initials. It says, A.S. Anthony Scuddy, my name. Wants to ask his mother to ask my mother to ask me to the prom. Now that's a parental pull string power which I don't recall ever wanting to employ. Apparently it happened. But at the end of this note, there's a three-letter exclamation interjection that begins with a capital A, continues with a lowercase a, ends with a lowercase h. AAH exclamation point. This is before the age of digital emoticons, however. From the context of the note and our interactions in class, our unrequited interactions, she was a nice girl, it just wasn't there, it wasn't meant to be. I could tell this was not a Folgers crystal relaxation, nor was it a Ren and Stimpy stock girl scream, like if you ever watched Ren and Stimpy, one of those. No, it was an of trepidation, of anxiety, of apprehension of my asking her to the prom. It just wasn't there. She was a really nice girl, I swear. I'm not trying to bash anyone. The next day, though, it is a conspiracy. Everybody's looking at me with this ghoulish grin on their faces, like that video game. I like video games, sue me. They're great. Anyway, ghouls and ghosts. They're the ghouls, I'm the ghost. That's the dichotomy. They're like, who are you taking to the prom, Anthony? With their like ghoulish grins. And I'm the ghost, and I'm like, I don't know. And I gotta flip to the other end of the classroom because I'm past the defensive at this point. I sink into my seat. I don't look at the girl. Again, she's a really nice girl. So I go home. The prevailing individualistic power that prevails at the end, not to be too redundant, is I talk to my father about this. I email out on him, and he tells me what he calls a tsunami, what's really known as a Satorian Japanese moment of enlightenment. And he says, you're like ships passing in the night. She can decide that you're not right for her, but you can decide that she's not right for you. So all of a sudden, I'm imbued with this moment of enlightenment, and I'm serene. Next day I go to class. Really more interesting episodes, I go to another classroom to look for a calculator I leave behind. And I'm serene and happy and enlightened. And it's not there, the calculator, but it's okay. And I'm looking under the desk and it's okay. And I'm serene. And a kid looks at me and snickers. And I gotta imagine what's going through his mind is, that guy is so gone right now. But the fact of the matter was, I was gone. I was stoned on this epiphany of personal realization. And as an athlete, again, who has trouble with these social interactions, I carry that through even to today. If I find, whether it's a girl or a clique or what have you, in today's society, if it doesn't click, if it doesn't work out, that's okay. Because maybe I wasn't right for them, but they're not right for me, and that's just the way it goes. No, like, indictments or anything like that. And I still carry that into my days today as I progress. Thank you.